Hi,
right.
welcome to my house. MTV Cribs now.
Would you like to do the intro?
No.
Oh my gosh. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Bright Connections. I'm your host, BK. Joining me for the very first time, we have a doubles guests, Mr. and Mrs. Jake and Erica. How are you guys?
Good. Peachy Keen, Jelly Bean.
Oh my, awesome. So yes, for the first time, we have two people on here as a guest. As you can tell, they're big Star Wars fan, along with myself. We've got a fantastic mug there. We've got an amazing shirt, and we've got a Yoda onesie. Like, how amazing. So cool.
Wait, Target.
Target.
You have the best Star Wars shirts.
Hey, yeah, no, I think that's where I got mine too. Unfortunately, I already wore mine this week like a dummy. And so I have just a Steelers shirt on. So I know I failed.
Well, I mean, they are playing today, so it makes sense.
That is true. That is true as well. But I do have my little characters back there, and I have my coffee mug as well. I've got Mr. Fett here. Ouch! I just burned myself. So I've got some stuff, just not the attire. That's all. So in case anyone was wondering, yes, we are doing Star Wars themed episode today. Woohoo!
Woo!
So before we get started on that, a little feedback from last week. A lot of people enjoyed last week's episode with Kevin and myself being basic for the beginning of fall. With my performance last week being a basic bitch, man. Wow, it's amazing how I'm still single, right? I'm surprised I didn't get a bunch of phone calls from gentlemen asking.
Slowly someone slid into your DM.
Yeah, so I guess apparently it came off a little bit on the gay side, but you know, it is what it is.
Because you like the pumpkin spice, someone could just come in and spice up your life.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, gentlemen, sorry, hate to disappoint you, but I am into ladies, so fortunate there. But that was a good episode, a lot of fun. And then hopefully, obviously, this one will be just as fun. So before we jump into Star Wars, though, we do want to get a little update on the MLB postseason. We are in the World Series now, and we are.
He's letting Raisin outside. You're good.
Okay.
I'm the talkative one in the relationship, anyways.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So we're good.
Oh, God.
Keep going.
Oh, keep going. Okay. So we did.
Keep gonna bark at us.
You're good.
All right. We've got and go. We've got the final two teams in the postseason here. We've got the Los Angeles Dodgers and we've got the Tampa Bay Rays. They have played 4 games so far, and the series is 2-2. So we're all tied up. It's now going to be basically a best of 3. Whoever can win 2 out of the next 3 games will be our champion. So I know last night was game 4, and that was a heck of an ending. I don't know if you saw or heard. Yeah, so it was crazy ending. In the bottom of the 9th, the Dodgers were up by 1 run, and the Rays were down to 2 outs, and somehow managed to get 2 guys on base. So they had guys on first and second, and a gentleman hit a little blooper right into right center field, and so it scored the guy from second pretty easily, which is pretty standard. But the guy in center field bobbled the ball a little bit, and so the guy from first tried going home as well to win it. And as he's going around third toward home, he stumbles and falls to the ground.
Oh.
So he's stuck in between third and home, not knowing what to do, and he's like, "Oh no!" So the throw comes in from the outfield, comes into home. The catcher bobbles it too. It shoots out to the right. The guy gets back up. The guy stuck on in between third and home. He gets back up and runs home, and they won on that kind of play. It was absolutely crazy, the way that game ended. And so that was the tying game in series, because it could have been 3-1 Dodgers if they didn't do that. But they were able to. The Rays were able to somehow managed to squeeze that out and tie up the series. So we've got a heck of an ending coming up here soon.
Last night's game.
Yeah, last night's game was crazy.
Whenever I was giving you the MLB stuff, and I was like, it's 2-1 Dodgers, and then I'm like, oh, I didn't realize they were playing tonight.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy ending that game last night. Yep. So obviously we've got that, and then in addition to what's going on in the game wise, we also had news with the whole COVID situation with the MLB. And at the beginning of the season and playoffs and everything, they're kind of having a little bit of trouble with keeping everything, compact and under control. But there was something released the other day that did say that they have done a lot better recently, and that there's been no positive tests for 54 consecutive days now, and only 62 in the last 63 days. There have not been any tests too. So they must have figured something out. They figured something out and got it all squared away. Either that, or maybe it's just there's less teams to worry about. There's only a couple teams that are in the
earlier. It just seems like as the teams dwindle down, there's less people to worry about and less people to go out and
to manage, and or more people or less people to go out and get infected and bring it in to everyone else. Yep. So they've done a better job for sure of containing it. So good on them. Awesome news to hear that everything kind of got controlled with that, and they were able to continue with the playoffs and now get to the World Series finals. So awesome stuff there. All right, so what we all came here for, a little Star Wars talk, getting our nerd on, right? Getting our Star Wars knowledge out and about. All right, guys, so just a heads up, in this episode, we are going to be talking on the Mandalorian series, as well as Star Wars, all the series in general, as well as some of the side series, Clone Wars and Rebels. So if you don't want to, hear any spoilers, well, unfortunately, I think you might want to skip through a little bit or just bear with us. So spoiler alert. So first thing we want to touch on with the second season of The Mandalorian coming out this Friday, October 30th. We want to touch on that first. Mandalorian, what a show. It's amazing show. I mean,
I really wasn't expecting that much out of it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were kind of like, it doesn't sound that great. Just another Mandalorian just running around doing whatever. And the first couple episodes were a little slow, trying to set up who he is and what he's going to be doing. But as halfway through the season got on and you kind of got introduced to another character we'll touch on, it really started to pick up and really got interesting and just was really, really good. Really, really good. So it kind of has like a Lone Ranger feel to it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if
the Old West meets space.
Yeah, and that's literally what it's classified as. I know on IMDb and stuff. Yeah, it's classified as a space western. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. So that's literally what it is, and it's exactly the way it feels. So if you think, Lone Ranger movies in the past, it's basically what it is, just with a little bit extra pop and effects and stuff, and very, very good, very, very good. So.
Speaking of effects, I'm hoping they're a little better in the second season.
Yeah, so the first season, again, was a lot of setting up things, a lot of meeting characters and setting up what's to come. With the trailer of season 2, we're really looking to have some more action and some more, like you said, a little bang for our buck. So,
yeah, it definitely looks
a little
really
more action-packed.
Yes, for sure. So The Mandalorian is set 5 years after the fall of the Empire in episode 6. So the Empire has fallen and everything. Yeah. And 25 years before the rise of the First Order, which is, obviously the new generation. So it's kind of in between the original Star Wars and the latest Star Wars with the, with the rise of,
Kylo Ren and whatnot.
Yeah, Kylo Ren and Rey and everyone, everyone in that one. So that's kind of where we're set. So everything kind of fell apart with the Empire, and we're still kind of seeing the remnants of it, though. There's still troopers around. There's still, Mandalorians, obviously, with the Mandalorian himself, and there's other Mandalorians in the show as well, which we end up finding out a couple episodes in. He kind of thought he was by himself. He didn't realize that there was another group of Mandalorians that he could find and kind of become a part of. So that's where the timeline kind of sits with the Mandalorian, kind of in between everything. So now.
Erica pointed out last night, we were watching some of the older ones.
I was on episode 5.
And she pointed out that there was a guy from the Empire that was one of the main characters of the bad guys.
It was a droid. It was the...
Oh, it was a droid?
Yeah, it was the IG-11 guy, the one with the spinny top, and he's like, woo, woo, woo.
Yeah. I thought you said it was a person.
There's also a person, but I can't remember what the person was that I looked at.
Yeah.
But
So one of the Empire guys is part of in the Mandalorian
I saw it last night.
from episode 5.
Okay.
Because they're trying to get Han Solo to Jabba, and you see the droid who was like wanting to save everybody at the end of Mandalorian, the first season. Yeah. He was in there. They were trying to Han and.
So we're thinking that IG-11 was actually in episode 5 as well as the Mandalorian. Okay. Now I know. What's that?
So I saw him in there. I can find.
Now I know there are a handful of IG units, so it could have technically been another one, but it very well could have been 11 as well. So there's a lot of the bounty hunter droids throughout Star Wars, as well as a lot of. What's that?
No, I said I know because he was a bounty hunter. So yeah.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. That's awesome then. So he's through all the Empire stuff, and then he found his way to the Mandalorian as well.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Just look
Awesome.
at it. Because I found it last night. I can try it again.
Nice. Okay. All right. So let's go through some of the characters in the Mandalorian. So obviously the main character is Mr. Mando, Mandalorian himself, and so he's starts off the series as, like we said, a Lone Ranger, just running around, doing his own thing, doing bounties, collecting paychecks. Doesn't really have anyone else in his life, no one else to talk to, confide in, other than maybe a little bit with the guild that he's part of, the Bounty Hunters Guild. But other than that, he's kind of just to himself, just doing his own thing, right? So
I think that's sort of the bounty hunter way, though.
This is the way.
This is the way. Exactly. Yep. This is the way. So they really don't rely on anyone else. They don't believe in friendships per se. They're just do their own thing. I know, right? Sad face. Super sad.
That's a good.
That's true. He does have friends as it goes.
Yes. So as the show continues and he gets his assignment to go out and find the child, as he's called, the child. And it's what's funny is the person that gives him the assignment is like, this person you're trying to capture is 150 some years old. And so Mandalorian's like, okay, so he's expecting, this old person just sitting there like half dead probably.
Right.
And when he finally gets there and finds the child,
It's a little baby.
It's a little baby, and it's like little floating
bassinet.
This floating bassinet. Yep. Absolutely. And then he's sitting there, he's just kind of like, wait, what? You're not what I expected. What is going on here? So he's intrigued, and as as Erica mentioned, with IG-11 as a bounty hunter, IG-11 was programmed to eliminate the child, and Mandalorian, still having a little bit of humanity in him, didn't see that as okay, and he ended up stopping IG-11 from killing the child, which many people have dubbed a different nickname.
Baby
Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda. Obviously it's not Yoda, but it's the same species as Yoda, and we really don't know a whole lot about Yoda species, do we?
No.
Literally on Google it says unknown.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's cool.
That's cool. Thanks.
No one knows what he is. It's fine.
Yeah, they don't need to know. That's okay. But it's a lot of people were excited to see another Yoda species, because a lot of people, for a lot of people, Yoda is their favorite character. A lot of people love Yoda, and Erica, as you could see, that's my ears. So Mandalorian ends up saving Baby Yoda and takes him. He originally takes him back to the guy who gives him the assignment. He takes him back to the guy who gives him the assignment, turns him in, but later realizes that he doesn't trust them with the Baby Yoda, and ends up going back and steals him back and takes him with him. Takes him on. What's that?
That was a good fight scene for that one.
Absolutely. When he's got his little like bracelet and shoots up like 5 rockets and takes them all out. Badass. So
I give our dog a treat because she was sitting there growling at us.
She wanted to be part of the podcast too.
Yeah, absolutely. Good old Razy. So the Mandalorian, as you can tell already through the description, he changed when he found Baby Yoda. He kind of changed. He kind of got a soft spot. For little Baby Yoda.
It definitely went from hardcore badass Lone Ranger to now he's a protector.
Yeah. He took the little guy on. What's that?
I was gonna say it just changed the entire run of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. So kind of took Baby Yoda under his wing, and had some adventures with him. A lot of times he had to protect Yoda, but at the same time, there's a couple times where Yoda actually protected him. So they kind of developed a bond throughout the first season of like you said, protector and little one. I don't know what else you'd call him, but little guy. So, and along the way, Mando ends up meeting a few other people. One of them being Cara Dune, who was a former shock trooper in the Rebel Alliance, which the Rebel Alliance was kind of like an early resistance group to the Galactic Empire. In the it's kind of like in between episodes 3 and 4. So before the Empire was fully established, as they were building, there was a Rebel Alliance, that was early resistance to them. So if you've watched Star Wars Rebels, the animated series, that kind of is what that whole time period is about, and the Phoenix Squadron, and all their adventures on trying to slow down / stop the Empire. So but we're gonna skip the Rebels and Clone Wars, the other side series. We'll talk about them another time, because they're their whole thing in their own. Great series, but like I said, we'll talk about them some other time. But coming back to Cara Dune, again, she was a former shock trooper in the Rebel Alliance, and basically what shock troopers were, they're just badasses, total.
It's also the actors in general too, so it works out.
Yeah. So a little bit about the actress, Erica. You said you.
Yeah, so she's in. She first made her appearance in Screen in Fantastic. Spit
it out.
What was it again? Fast and Furious.
Yep.
Thank you. Fast and Furious franchise.
Yes.
Which one was it though?
It was 6.
6. I was like, I don't remember. There's too many numbers.
What are they even up to now?
I don't. 75. There's too many, and it gets too ridiculous. But she's the one where the double agent with The Rock, and everyone's like, oh my god,
Agent Shaw.
Yeah, Agent Shaw. He's not an agent. Owen Shaw.
Owen Shaw. Sorry.
He's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Because he's Jason Statham's brother.
Right. Jason Statham.
He's badass also.
Yes.
A
lot of badasses in that movie.
Really are though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same movie where Dom's like, here, I'm gonna fly over a freaking overpass and try to protect Letty and not kill her on a car.
Yeah.
How? Just how?
Launches himself 60 feet through the air.
Seriously, every time I watch that scene, I'm like, what are you doing? Why don't you have a broken back? But anyways, sidetracking. The Cara Dune chick, she is a MMA fighter, so that's why she's super badass no matter what.
Yes. Badass fighter. So she did have some of her own fight scenes in Mandalorian as well. Didn't she do some kind of like crazy one of those little leg clamp on your head and spin and throw you down?
I'm to do that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, let's start taking jujitsu.
Jake's face when you said that, he's like, I don't know about that. Let's not do that.
Practice for somebody else.
Yes, please. So
I did accidentally hit him in the head with a ball the other day when we were playing fetch with Raisin. Right in the ball. And nice. Jake's like, I'm so sorry, I didn't do the laundry fast enough. I'm like, stop! That's so bad.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry. Okay.
Anyways. Too funny. So Cara ends up joining Mando on his adventures, and they kind of develop a friendship as well. And then another person that ends up being in their small little band of badasses is Greef Karga. Greef Karga is the leader of the Bounty Hunters Guild that Mandalorian is part of. Karga, obviously, if we're this far in and you didn't realize there were some spoilers, sorry, but whoops,
you're gonna have to go back to a spoiler alert.
Yeah, we might have to. Yeah, but so Greef Karga kind of. There was points where he kind of betrayed Mandalorian, but then he also helped him, and then back and forth, and betrayed and helped, and betrayed and helped. So
he can't make up his mind on if he wants to be a good guy or if he just wants money.
Right. And
this is totally off franchise. It was kind of like Loki, because he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be badass," or "I'm gonna be bad," and then, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Thor, I love you." It's that.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how I can do it. Sorry.
I mean, honestly though, a lot of bounty hunters are like that. Like they kind of, in a way, want to help sometimes, but they also want their money and they complete their contract, and that's really all that matters. So,
well, if you don't complete your contracts, you're losing your reputation, and then you can't continue as a bounty hunter.
Correct. Especially with Mandalorians, they are huge on, like you said, reputation and keeping their name and their respect. That's what it's all about. And we've seen that throughout Star Wars with Jango Fett, Boba Fett, and then obviously with Mandalorian now as well. So all about respect and code, and just very strict on.
Sorry, my family's coming in the door now.
Oh, okay. Oh my goodness. Fantastic.
Sorry, bud.
You're good. Hey, you're good. So Greef Karga, again, he kind of at the end, at least for now, it seems like he's joined the group, and he's part of the small band of Mandalorian and Yoda and Cara and everything. And so hopefully he'll stay that way and not switch back to the betrayal side. So then we've got him, and then we've got another character named the Armorer, who is another Mandalorian who kind of is like a mentor for the Mandalorian, right? I assume she's a she. We never really know for sure, but
is she the leader of the guild, or is it just of that branch of the guild?
I think it was just those people, like that society.
Probably, yeah, probably. But it is a she, confirmed. Okay.
I did Google it too.
Okay.
I wanted to double check it.
Nice. So She definitely served as a mentor figure to Mandalorian. But she also is, kind of like the forger of all their armor and stuff, throughout Mandalorian. What's that?
They have to earn it and bring her the medal so that she can make it.
Beskar medal. Yep, Beskar medal. So, which is just apparently like a extremely rare and very strong metal for their armor. And so she gets all that, she collects it, and they and she kind of builds the armor for them, for the Mandalorians. So, but she's definitely served as a mentor figure to Mandalorian, kind of teaching him throughout this season. So sorry. Throughout this season, she kind of shows him that he needs to take Mandalorian needs to take Baby Yoda under his wing and continue to protect him, and get him back to his people. Essentially, that's the end goal towards the end of the season, is kind of Mandalorian's like, I need to figure out how to get this creature back to his people. He doesn't deserve to be lost out here with all this mayhem. He deserves to find his people. So that's kind of his main mission now, is going to be finding where he needs to be. So
where it is either.
Yeah.
Literally no one does.
No.
Watching the trailer for the second season, it seems like that is the main mission of the entire season.
Just trying to figure out where
Baby Yoda's from.
Right. And I have to imagine it's gonna be tough, like we said, throughout the whole Star Wars franchise. We just know nothing about Yoda and his group of people.
Unknown green objects.
We're kind of losing you there.
That's what they look like. Oh no.
Yeah, we cut off for a second.
Now?
Yes, you're good.
I said unknown green little objects is what I called them.
Yes. Unknown green little blob.
That's what he is.
He is. But oh my gosh, his fight scene in Attack of the Clones episode 2, where he's bouncing off of the walls and doing spins and stuff against.
The only good scene in that movie.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. 1, 2, and 3 don't.
There's no point in watching them.
Yeah, a lot of people don't care for them, but we'll
that and the creation of Vader.
Oh, yeah.
Where Anakin's like,
you were all for me. You were my brother.
Yeah.
Are you really? Well then, why just don't get corrupted? Just don't be evil.
Yeah, right. So we'll definitely jump into this discussion here in a second, but let's finish up with Mandalorian with another.
We have to keep going.
No, we're good. That's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. But another mentor character to Mandalorian who kind of set him along his path is Kuiil.
That's what it said. Literally, IMDb literally put it as Kuiil.
Kuiil, yes. Okay. So he is a Ugnaught who Ugnaught on one of Mandalorian's missions, ran into the path of this Kuiil and kind of got these creatures. He had to get from one place to another, and his ship was.
They were the hippo horses.
Broken at the time. Hippo horses.
Well, you rode it like a horse, but it looked like a hippo.
It looked like something. I don't even know what it looked like. It looked like a fish, kind of too. Like the way it was shaped.
It was weird.
It was very weird. Very weird creature that he had to.
The scene of him riding that was bad.
That's what Jake was like. This is not good animation.
It was a little odd, but it is what it is. And so this gentleman, Kuiil, he again kind of taught Mandalorian to just to what?
I'd say to be more like a human.
Yeah.
Not think like a Mandalorian as much.
Like a bounty hunter.
Yeah, like a bounty hunter.
Yeah, sometimes you have to open up and see the world around you and be open to accepting some people as well. Accepting help and helping others as well, not just all yourself. So So like we said, along the way, and he's had some teachers, some mentors that have really opened him up a little bit and helped him be a.
Sorry.
You're good. You're good. And so another influential character, and then obviously we've touched with IG-11 a little bit. So IG-11, like we said, was kind of sent to kill Baby Yoda. Mandalorian stopped him, but he ends up coming back.
Yeah, because the Kuiil guy reprogrammed him to be a protector.
Yep. Correct. Exactly. So Kuiil reprograms IG-11. Do you remember how he got back to Mandalorian? Like how he rejoined?
For like the end of the season?
Yeah, like how he got back to the different planet and stuff.
I don't fully remember that part. I just remember that IG-11 was the one who was able to bring Baby Yoda back because he was getting taken by the stormtrooper guys.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is my self-destruct mode because that's still like that one program that they couldn't break was for
right. But IG-11, yeah, he gets reprogrammed to then not be a bounty hunter and be a protector, and he gets programmed to protect Baby Yoda. And basically, when you get these droids that are programmed for something, that's all they know. So that's all they know. So he gets programmed to be the protector of Yoda, Baby Yoda, excuse me, and so he'll do anything to make sure he watches over this little guy. So at the end, he ends up basically sacrificing himself to protect not only Baby Yoda, but kind of the group, essentially, the group. And in a way, so throughout, the Mandalorian has zero trust for droids. So we learned that from the very beginning. He does not like droids. He had his home world was attacked when he was young by droids. And so he just has a complete fear and distrust of droids, through his entire life. But seeing IG-11 at the end of the season kind of change and not be a killer, and what?
It kind of opens him up to being around droids more.
Yeah, being accepting and like you said, open just to not hating droids so much. That maybe not all of them are bad. Just like we are in the world right now. Now, not everything's bad. There are good people out there, and people can change, and people can do good things. Ha ha! Bright connection. So, very good story there with IG-11 and Mandalorian kind of developing a little bit of a relationship at the end there as well. So, and then the last character we want to touch on is Moff Gideon. He, at the end of the first season, appears as this officer. He was an officer in the Imperial Security Bureau. Yes, I had to look that up. I didn't know that. I knew he was an officer with the thus ended empire, but so he, yeah.
That's all I know. And that actor always plays a bad guy.
Yeah.
Always plays a bad guy.
He really does. He really does. I know. There's a couple shows that I've watched that he was in. He was, super bad dude.
Completely typecast.
Yep.
It sucks because I feel like he could do so many more things.
Yeah.
Well, if you're good at being bad, you're good at being bad, right?
That's a good point.
Might as well get paid for it.
That's true.
Exactly. So he appears at the end and kind of he has a ton of troops and completely has the Mandalorian and their group completely pinned down, not knowing what to do. They end up figuring a way to get out where they were and kind of defeat him, but they don't kill him. They just defeat him, and he kind of takes off, retreats for another day. But so he was actually, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but he was kind of in charge during the Great Purge of the Mandalorians. And so
really?
Yeah, so Mandalorian kind of knew him. He knew him from his reputation and his name of what he's done in the past, with the purge of the Mandalorians. So obviously knew he what kind of person that Moff Gideon was, and
for him.
Yeah. Yep. And for him to still take on the battle and at least defeat him this time was pretty badass, not gonna lie. So then again, Mandalorians really usually are pretty badass.
Yeah.
For sure. So Moff Gideon does appear to be at least one of the main antagonists in season 2. But with a lot of rumors and other things swirling around season 2, there could very well be other big name characters appearing in the season as well. So some other notable characters, obviously we've got Ahsoka Tano. So Ahsoka Tano, what's that?
I said bless you.
Bless. Oh, thank you. Achie. Yes. So she was not in any of the main movies. So some people who haven't branched off to the other side series and stuff might not know her. But anyone that's watched Clone Wars or Rebels, again, she was one of the main characters in that. And a lot of people turned to start to really love her as a character. She started out in Clone Wars. She was this young character that kind of was just annoying and just there, and just like I said, just annoying and got in the way a lot. But as the series progressed and she went through Clone Wars, she grew up, she got more mature and more wise, and just.
What does she look like on Clone Wars? I'm trying.
She's I think she's blue skin with like whitish blue striped puffy hair with like long puffy hair kind of thing. It's I don't even know if it's hair. It's kind of like her skin, but it's like long on top. And
Eric is looking it up for her.
Okay.
Going on the Googler.
Yes. So she was a huge character. She was Anakin Skywalker's apprentice. So we lost you for a second here. So
Mainly because I thought I knew it, but I didn't.
Okay, so yeah, she was Anakin Skywalker's apprentice, and so they had their own bond. And when Anakin kind of turned,
it's orange, bud.
Yeah, she's orange. Sure is. Her hair's blue, or her top of her skin white and blue. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yes.
We'll just pop it up in the middle of the screen.
Yes. Totally blue. Yeah. I'm thinking of another character. I can't think of her name now either. But yeah. So she's orange. She's a dual wielding lightsaber fighter. She's definitely turned out to be a badass. She was a big part of Anakin's life, but when Anakin, obviously turned to the dark side, she kind of stowed away. And when Anakin, or I guess you could call him Darth Vader at that time, was going out and purging all the Jedi, she was able to, avoid him and stay alive. And so she is making her return. She's making her return in The Mandalorian. So a lot of people are excited about that for sure. Another character appearing in season 2 is Boba Fett. Boba Fett, tomato, potato, garage, whatever you want to. Whatever you want to say. I say Boba Fett. One of my favorite characters in Star Wars for sure.
Is it actually Baba? Is that what it's supposed to be?
Boba, Baba. I don't know. I've heard it both ways.
Oh, okay. I've only heard Boba.
Okay. So maybe we'll go with Boba for right now then. So, but he appears to be making an appearance in season 2 as well. So that's exciting. So he is a Mandalorian as well. He's a bounty hunter. So basically the same kind of person as Mandalorian, but kind of had a little bit more of a reputation as being bad in the original Star Wars, So because
I swear, didn't he get eaten by that weird plant in the 6th movie? I don't remember. I'll look it up. I'll watch it later. It's fine.
Yes, I'm pretty sure he did, but maybe it's either he got out of it somehow, or maybe it's someone else with his armor. So maybe we're thinking that it's him, but maybe it's somebody else just using his armor.
Well, we'll find out on Friday.
We'll find out. Maybe, yeah, maybe on Friday, maybe a little bit later in the season. But either way, either him or someone impersonating him or something appears to be making an appearance this season. So I'm excited for that. Another big character is Bo-Katan, Lady Bo-Katan. She, again, was kind of in the side series a little bit, so people who only watch the main stuff might not know her. She, Eric is like, nope, no idea. She's another Mandalorian. She was the sister to I can't remember the exact title, but she was like the leader of the people of Mandalore, the planet Mandalore, and all the Mandalorians when they were still a planet, and they were a bunch of Mandalorians. She was the sister to the leader, Bo-Katan. The sister got killed. Another spoiler. I'm sorry. But Bo-Katan ends up being a very vital character in Clone Wars and Rebels, and ends up being kind of one of the leaders of the Mandalorian people. She continues to progress through her timeline. So another very important / influential Mandalorian, again, appears to be making an appearance in the season. So for anyone, what's that?
Do we know if she's going to be a good guy or a bad guy?
It's with Mandalorian, man, it's hard to tell,
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. But she definitely was more towards the good side. In the series. She helped the Jedi in Clone Wars. So I would assume, more towards the good side. But again, we never know. A lot of times they have their own interest in hand. So you just never know. Never know.
Maybe she has information.
Yeah. Maybe. So, and then the last character that there's been rumors, but definitely no confirmed, is Grand Admiral Thrawn, another character from Rebels. Blue. He's definitely blue. I know that. He's definitely blue. Very, very, very smart dude. Very inquisitive strategist. Was just a lot of times in Rebels, completely outsmarted the Phoenix Squadron, the good guy group. Completely completely outthought them, and just was 10 steps ahead every time. So a lot of people at the end of Rebels, again, another spoiler, a lot of people thought he was dead too. He got kind of like swallowed up by a creature and taken off into space. But you just never know with these bad guys, man. They just reappear out of nowhere, Never die.
Get themselves out with a knife.
Knife or a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Shoot their way out.
Yep. So they just never die. They always coming back. So if he makes his appearance, it's gonna be crazy to see him as well. So that's basically the Mandalorian in a nutshell.
Nice.
Woohoo!
Random. So in the trailer, did you see because you were talking about Mando's little bracelet thingamabob?
Yeah.
Bracelet, what you call it?
Uh-huh.
They were a whole bunch of people trying to like take Baby Yoda, and he just like looked at Baby Yoda and he's like, oh shoot, like Baby Yoda did that. And he started charging up his little bracelet thing, and Baby Yoda's like, I'm closing my pod, and it kills everybody.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my god, I was like, I can't wait for that scene.
Yes. Yeah, I saw that. Baby Yoda's like, oh, I know it's coming. I'm gonna close.
Goodbye. See you later.
Goodbye. Yeah, that was awesome.
I didn't see it.
We'll watch it in a second.
I want to see more of Mando's rifle. You remember his rifle, which he really only used like once, I think.
Yeah. Once or twice, yeah.
Yeah, once or twice, and I can't remember if it got stolen or lost or something. But dude, that thing is nasty. It just vaporizes people. It's just one shot. It's just crazy. Definitely want to see more of that.
All right, so if you could have one thing from Star Wars, what would it be?
Oh. Yoda's cane. No. No. I mean, probably a lightsaber. It's just iconic. I mean, there's obviously a bunch of guns you could always have, a bunch of weapons. You could have, I mean, you could say a tank from like the Clone Wars or something like that. But it's just the whole concept of the lightsaber and almost like what it stands for too.
So I agree with the lightsaber because the original way that you're supposed to get your lightsaber is to go find the crystals, and to do that you have to have the Force. So obviously you have the Force, and then you get your lightsaber too.
Yeah.
So it's like a double.
It's a double. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And they actually in Clone Wars and possibly in Rebels too, they touch more on how you get your crystal and how you make your lightsaber and stuff too. It was really cool. It's really cool when you're a youngling and you're just starting to learn about how to wield the lightsaber and use the Force and stuff. So that was in Clone Wars as well. So it was really cool to see that. So yeah, lightsaber. Yep. So, all right. So now that we've touched on Mando, let's kind of dive into more of the original Star Wars. I know you guys have a little bit more knowledge and excitement about the original Star Wars. So I know a lot of people say you can only be a fan of Star Trek or Star Wars.
No, I can do both.
Thank you. That's what I say too. I'm a fan of both.
I'll watch the Star Trek movies, but it's not like I'm gonna know the characters and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's not where I'm
I think you can do both. You could be a fan of both, but you still kind of have a little bit more of a favorite though.
It's kind of like Backstreet Boys are insane.
Oh no. Definitely one or the other there.
No, because I like both. Well, okay. That's still the same thing because I like both, but I am more of an insane.
See, yeah.
But I still like both. I did go see Backstreet Boys in concert. It was awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah, but then Kevin was standing in front, and I was like, no, we don't want him. I want AJ.
We want the other one. Get out of the way.
I wish that would have happened, but no, they were in their little spots.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, I mean, if I had to pick between Star Trek or Star Wars, I think I'm definitely picking Star Wars. It's just more iconic characters you kind of connect with more. There's more like outside stuff as well. There's like memorabilia and just like costumes like that and stuff. I guess you could technically have a Star Trek costume, but they're not as cool. Yeah.
There's how many Star Wars books? There's series on series on series of books. There's movies, there's TV shows, there's all the Disney attractions now. They have their own world.
They do.
Yeah.
The world and land.
Yeah. So it's just a little bit bigger outside of the movie part, the movies and series part. There's just more stuff outside a little bit that's Star Wars. So all right. So if you had to pick out of all the Star Wars movies, which one are you going with? Which one's your favorite?
That's hard.
It really is.
For me, I mean, it's definitely not 1, 2, or 3. Because seriously, why did you have to bring in Jar Jar? Like, just you can just go away.
All right. Well, after this question, we got to go back to Jar Jar.
Yes.
I used to hate him. My gosh. It's true. I don't know. I think I like episode 5 for the original one, but that's just because I like watching Han get frozen in his little cryo freeze. And Leia's like, I love you. And he's like, I know. You're like, really?
You cocky son of a bitch.
So
yeah.
I really like the last Star Wars so far, like that just came out. That one was really good.
The Force Awakens and Last Jedi. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was really good. I really like that one.
Yeah. See, a lot of people were critical of those. A lot of people were
well, they like what they like.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people kind of like a lot of movies, honestly, that they think, first one and that's it. Anything else that comes out after isn't ever going to be as good. And then they go into the mindset going into it. They go in the mindset before they even see it, and they're like, this one's not going to be as good. So why even
Well,
bother?
have you watched Big Bang Theory at all?
Yeah.
So, like they really like the original Star Wars. And then whenever the first or like the newest ones came out, there was like literally an episode where they're like, oh my gosh, like, is this really gonna be great? Like, am I really gonna like it? And then at the end they're like, oh my God, it was so good.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta give it a chance.
Totally.
So all right, so
6.
You're going 6?
Yeah. Where you find out that Vader is Luke's dad.
It's 5.
That's 5?
Mm-hmm.
I'm off.
I know because I watched it last night.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
I thought you were watching 6 last night.
No, I watched 5 last.
Okay, well then
5.
there we go.
Yeah.
All right, so you're both 5. You're 5. Okay.
I mean, 6 is good because you get the little. Oh my God, what are they right now? Wookiees? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
No, they're
not Wookiees.
They're not Wookiees.
Ewok.
Because I mean, you get the Ewoks, and that's super cool.
Yeah. Yes.
But, I like 5 a lot because then you also get Luke freaking out that. Bad.
I think a lot of people. That's probably the consensus is 5 is a lot of people's favorite. Gosh, I don't. If I had to pick, unfortunately I don't think I'm picking one of the original 3. Anyone that
3, I'm not your friend.
No, it's not 1, 2, 3.
We're done.
It's not 1. It's not 1, 2, 3. Honestly, I think I'm. Honestly, I think what. I think if I have to pick, I'm actually gonna go with the very last one, The Rise of Skywalker. Seeing Rey turn into the person she is, kind of seeing the end of the whole Skywalker era and how they progressed Luke and Leia and everything that progressed through, and a lot of good action in that one. Kind of Palpatine reappearing again was crazy.
That was insane.
So I don't know, it's just a lot of plot twists and a lot of good action and stuff in that one. I mean, the Last Jedi was good. The Force Awakens was good. I like them all, honestly, but I think I have to go with that last one. I know a lot of people are gonna pick from the original 3. If you know me, I don't really care so much for older movies. For whatever reason, I know the graphics. I think the graphics of old movies just get to me. I just can't.
I don't know. They actually did pretty well, I think. Like for Star Wars, I was watching the graphics last night, and like, yeah, you can tell it's like from the 80s.
But they've also edited those to update them.
Yeah. So, like, you think about it, and you're like, that for that time period, it was actually really good.
Oh, for sure. I think maybe it's just I'm so used to seeing good graphics, and to go back in an old movie and just look at it, it's just like, what is this? What is that? That's supposed to be a lightsaber? That's supposed to be a energy gun firing and stuff, but
they get hit by it a lot of times too. I was watching that last night. I was literally watching. I was like, wow, Leia got hit there, but she still ran. That's what I was doing last night. I was like really like being more critical about it.
Yeah. But I'm like that with even just outside of Star Wars, just a lot of old movies. Just I don't know. It's just something about the graphics and the effects and stuff. It's just kind of like they're like cringe to me. It's like, oh, I know they're trying. I know they're probably good at that time. It's just I'm so used to better.
Like the Terminator.
Yeah.
I to watch Terminator movies, and just the way that the Terminator walks in 1 and 2 is just terrible.
Yeah, I know. So anything pre-2000 for me is just kind of like, oh, I don't know. There's obviously some iconic movies that are older that you just have to watch. They're just amazing. But and Star Wars is still one of those. I still absolutely 100% watch the original Star Wars. It's just that not necessarily my favorite. So it is what it is.
So you like the newer ones. How did you feel about Han Solo dying?
I mean,
he did.
Definitely, he did. I mean, he did. It was definitely a twist. To a lot of people were not happy about it for sure. Did
you know that he only wanted to do 1 movie?
Yeah.
He never wanted to do more than that.
Yeah, I did know that he didn't want to do them. But was he in the second one?
Mm-mm.
I didn't think so. He reappeared as the like.
Because he was frozen.
Yeah. Wait.
No. I'm talking the second newest one. Number 8.
Oh, okay.
Last Jedi.
You got me confused. I was like, hold up.
Sorry.
Sorry, I was going back to the.
He was in different time periods.
Yes, yeah, I see that. But in Last Jedi, I don't think he appeared in that one, but he appeared in the very last one in Rise of Skywalker, just as like a memory or ghost spirit, whatever you want to call it, to Kylo. I mean, it was a big step because it was almost like the same thing that Anakin went through. Just he had to kill somebody, or he had to go through some crazy dark event to transform completely to the dark side. And that's kind of what Kylo did. He killed him, knowing that if he killed him, he would be able to completely turn away from any light side feelings.
Yeah, but then he kind of was still struggling even after that.
He was. Yeah, he was. So actually, Darth Vader, I guess you could argue too.
Yeah.
Still struggled with being completely dark. So,
not everybody's fully bad.
Not everyone's fully bad. That's right. Bright connection. So, are you guys, if we had to pick a favorite generation, are you guys going with the original?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think. What?
Said I would for sure.
Yeah, you would for sure. As your ears swivel.
All right.
Yeah, definitely not going with the 1, 2, 3 generation. Obviously, I didn't hate them as much as a lot of people do. I know I could tell Erica absolutely hates them, but
I don't like them. But that's how I got into Star Wars, was the first 3, because my dad was really into the first generation of it. Like the 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Right.
My dad was like, "No, we have to go see all these movies." So like that's how I got into it. But once you get Jar Jar,
oh yeah, we never did go back to Jar Jar. Jake, what did you have to say about Jar Jar?
Going back to Jar Jar, there's
So
a fan theory that he is actually a Sith Lord.
Yeah, I've heard that.
All of these screw-ups that he does with such grace that he doesn't die. So there's a theory that he is doing it purposely.
That's a theory.
Yeah, and throughout Clone Wars, he reappeared. He's in Clone Wars, the series. You get more of him and his fortunate escapes in there as well. It's hard to really say for sure that's true. I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever know, honestly.
Someone should just write George Lucas.
He probably won't ever say.
No, he probably won't.
I want to say he probably isn't. He just truly is that fortunate just to escape.
Idiot.
Just a complete idiot.
I wouldn't even say graceful. I mean, yeah, he does follow his grace, but at the same time, he's just so stupid.
Yeah.
Misa happy.
Sure. Also, why in the world would Padme be like, "You are a good stand-in for the Senate"? Why? He's so stupid. Like, what? You're the right person. No.
Because she sees good in him. Duh.
No.
Gosh.
No. Whatever he wants to do, and then just mess it up anyways.
Because he's a graceful idiot.
Yeah.
Oh, we're swaying her. Not really, but.
No. No, he's still an idiot.
Yeah, still an idiot. Yeah.
Not sway me on that.
All right, how about favorite character? Who's your favorite character of all Star Wars?
Yoda. He's just so funny. I was watching it with just the 5th one last night because Luke had to go to Dagobah to like go see him, and he's just like rummaging through all of his stuff, and Luke's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Ah!" Just throwing all of his crap around. It's so funny. Old man just kind of throwing things around.
Yep.
I always like Darth Maul.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh?
Just badass double-ended lightsaber.
That's true.
I wish there was more of him in the movies, which, from what I know, there's more in Clone Wars, right? Yeah.
Is it bad that I laughed whenever he got like sliced in half?
Oh, so did I, but still.
He definitely has a huge role in Clone Wars.
Watch that.
Yes.
Watch like bits and pieces.
It's on Disney Plus.
It's already in our list of stuff to watch.
I would. I don't know if you are okay with like the animated cartoony thing or not, but you're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then
But I will.
shouldn't take much convincing then, because I even convinced my dad to watch it, and he's like, "I'm not watching this stupid cartoon animated thing." And I was like, please, just watch it. It's so good. And he's watching now, and he's all about it. He's all into it. He's like, every night, he's like, "I gotta watch my cartoon." He turns to my mom. He's like, "I gotta go watch my cartoon. I gotta watch my cartoon." She's just like, "Oh, jeez." But very, very good series. The further you get along the series, the more in depth and the more involved and the closer you get with all the characters and stuff. It's very good. Very
I'll
good.
probably watch like 6 or 7 episodes, and then Erica will start sitting down and watching some of it, and then she'll be like, "Wait, what's going on?" And we'll have to start all over again.
Probably.
Yeah.
That happens with every single thing we end up binging. Because like, what was it? You watched Umbrella Academy, and I was like, I don't really want to watch this. And then I started watching it, I don't know, a couple months ago. And he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I literally just watched this." I'm like, sorry.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Oh, season 2 just came out, so I'm gonna watch that while you're at work." Oh, okay.
Okay. Maybe I wanted to watch it too.
Yeah.
That did
Yeah.
happen.
So you started over?
No.
Oh.
No. And then I watched it by myself.
That is what happened. Yeah.
Oh, geez. Well,
Sorry.
Yeah.
That also happened.
this is so tough for me to pick a favorite character, honestly. I've mentioned Boba Fett's one of my favorite. Darth Maul is one of my favorite as well. You can see my little guy back there. Yoda, I'm a big fan of too.
Gotta pick one.
I know.
I'd like to braid Chewie's hair. He's just got so much of it. He's dreadlocks all around.
Yeah. I mean, Obi-Wan is a great character too, especially if you again watch the Clone Wars and stuff. You see throughout that how he continues to progress as like a mentor to Anakin and stuff. But I mean, I like Rey too.
My goodness, you are not doing good on this.
I'm not doing favorite. I'm not good at favorites. All right. I like everyone and everything.
Well, I mean, that's good for you as a person, but you pick one favorite.
Damn it.
Thought you could get away with it, didn't you?
Oh, I gotta go Yoda too.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
literally
good
just going to
choice.
tell you to like clear your mind and just the first thing that pops in your head on 3. That's what I was going to tell you.
Yeah, just because the more you watch him and what he does, he's another one of those people that's you could just tell he's 10 steps ahead.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what's coming before anyone else does. And it's crazy to think of. He's so wise. His fight scenes when he was, fighting Count Dooku and stuff, and
Ooh.
all the little sayings he has and the way he talks and stuff. He's just too cute, It's just too cute.
He is so funny. Just watching that 5th one last night was hilarious.
Yeah.
He just has him on his back as he's doing a little Jedi thing. He's like, "I'm hang out with little papoose over here."
Backpack Yoda.
Backpack Yoda. Yeah.
That's what he was.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Just love to watch that. Ha ha ha! You're just throwing everything. Sorry.
He was enjoying himself too much in that scene.
He really was though. Like, a happy little guy just rummaging through a lot.
Yep.
Loved it.
So now, do you think there's been just too much Star Wars lately? Do you think they were having a little bit of an overload? Do you guys need to take a break from Star Wars? Or
Nah, I'm good.
I don't think so either.
I could watch more.
I feel the same way. I know a lot of people are said, all right, we're gonna take a break now. We've had too much Star Wars. I'm like, why? I could keep watching it all the
I
time.
think they always go with different portions of everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like you're seeing like the Fast and Furious. How we were talking about that earlier. It's the same people over and over again.
The same kind of plot
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
Always.
Well-
Like, they're different, and then they have like different fillers too. Like Rogue One is, I actually really like Rogue One. Like I don't think there can be another movie of it, but I really like that one.
Well, they actually are talking about potentially doing another
They
Rogue One.
blew up the planet. No one else is there.
Well,
like, how can you have another movie?
It would be a prequel to Rogue One, actually.
Oh.
Even
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Rogue 0.5.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Rogue 0.5. Yeah, so they're actually talking. So actually, we'll go ahead and jump to what's potentially coming up next in Star Wars. As there is, it's either going to be like a Cassian Andor one, where it's basically about him and his story, or it's going to be like a Rogue One prequel.
That's so funny because my dad and I were talking about it. He's like, "Oh, is there going to be a Rogue 2?" I'm like, "No, there can't." I mean, he does it just because he knows that the planet blew up.
Yeah.
So he's like, whatever. So there might be a 0.5.
And dad jokes.
And dad jokes.
It is always the dad jokes from my dad.
Yeah.
Nice. So they are looking into that. They are looking at an Obi-Wan series.
That would be good.
I'd like to watch that.
Yes.
That'd
Yes.
be really like him.
Obi-Wan has always been a fond character for me. From when he killed Darth Maul, well, sort of killed him. To
Qui-Gon.
Yeah, I know. He failed him. He failed his master.
It's okay. They're both part of the Force.
That's true. But even then, going through as like General Kenobi in the Clone Wars, and being a mentor to Anakin and everything, just always been there. Obi-Wan Kenobi. So yeah, that should be a good series for sure. And then another one that's confirmed is Star Wars: The Bad Batch. So what that is anyone who's watched Clone Wars, they were a group of like outcast clones, kind of like misfits, if you will. They all had like, so obviously you had the clones. They were all basically the same. Basically every single clone was the exact same. These ones were kind of had, they had their like defects or whatever. When they were programmed or created, whatever you want to call it, however you want to say it. So they had their defects or misfits or whatever you want to say. And there's their small band of the four of them, and they kind of did their own thing during the Clone Wars, but they were very effective at what they did. They were very, very good at what they did as well. So they only appeared in a couple episodes in Clone Wars, but a lot of people liked them, obviously. So they decided to kind of dive into their story a little bit more and have a series on them as well. So
now I have to go back and watch it.
Yep.
Now you're getting into it, aren't you?
A little bit.
It is very, very good. It is very good. So obviously they did the first 6 seasons of Clone Wars were all done together, and then they had a break and then finished with season 7. Couple. What's that?
Years of a break.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And you could tell a difference in like the animation and stuff in season 7. It's a good bit different than the ones before. It was kind of off. It was kind of throwing me off a little bit, to be honest, but you get used to it. It's fine.
I might just get me into cartoons. Yep.
But the whole series, especially season 7 was just phenomenal. Like the last 4 episodes of the series were kind of like, I don't want to say like mini movie. I guess you kind of say mini movies, but what I've been told, and I didn't do it when I first watched it, but I'm going to do it as my dad finishes up with watching it, is the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars all tie in to the Clone Wars movie itself.
Oh, cool.
Or I'm sorry, Clone Wars and episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. So it kind of ties in together, and you can basically watch like those 4 episodes at the same time period of the movies, and they just kind of go hand in hand. And you can see like how some things were happening in a certain spot in the Clone Wars series episode. At the same time, somewhere else, something else was going on in the movies, and it's just like go hand in hand. It's really cool, and I'm excited to go back and do that, with my dad when he's there. So a lot of fun. So even though we've ended the Skywalker saga, definitely not the end of Star Wars. Star Wars is going to keep going.
Yeah, they always find more things to figure out with.
Yeah. And I have to imagine, even though Skywalker saga is done, they're still going to have the next, the next group or the next family, whatever you want to say, the next people to highlight, start their own thing. So that's Star Wars. That's our Star Wars knowledge.
Dun dun. Woo.
Dun 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 dun.
No, it is.
Awesome stuff. Star Wars is just so much fun. So good. Very, very good. So I'm excited we got to talk about it. So,
I'm sure
all right.
You can do like updates throughout the Mandalorian season too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, all right. So let's dive in to our bright stories of the week. Our bright stories of the week. We've got a handful this week. A lot of submissions, a lot of good stories. Glad to hear people submitting.
That's awesome.
A lot of good stuff. So first off, we've got here one where someone I know received a handwritten note, which are always sentimental and touching when anybody writes a handwritten note. Has a little bit extra to it. What's that, Jake?
I said it never happens anymore.
It doesn't. It
like,
doesn't.
Thank you notes for a wedding or something.
Right. Right. It adds a little bit more value to it when it's a handwritten note. I have to think so. So she received a handwritten note from a church that their school was partnered with, that do things for their students and provides support for other events and stuff. And they usually get handwritten cards throughout the year, but this is the one that she got on this certain day. And actually, every single staff member, she said, gets one of these notes. So they take the time to really write out notes and thank people from school. And it says, asking God to bless you and keep you safe from COVID, as you work with all these children. I know the year's been especially difficult, and we'll be praying for you daily. And as my friend read this, and she's like, wow, this person's praying for me daily, like taking the time to thank me for all that I do as a teacher daily, and just the whole thing of the handwritten note, and just taking the time to say you're thinking of someone else and thanking them for what they do for children, for our young generation. It's good stuff. So thank you for that submission. And then the same person actually submitted something that they saw, that one of their friends saw, one of their friends did. So he had a post on Facebook that said, what he does, he sometimes honks and waves at random people walking on the street or driving in their cars, and he yells out, "Benny," with a smile, and kind of points at them or gives them a thumbs up. And sometimes they wave back and smile, other times they don't. And when his wife asked why he does this, he goes, "No reason, just to brighten people's day. Just brighten strangers' day. I don't know if that person's having a bad day or a great day, but anytime you shout out Benny 9 or 10 times, 9 out of 10 times, somebody's just gonna smile and wave back." So, no idea why he's.
Can you start doing that?
What is Benny?
No idea. I don't even think he has a reason behind it. He's just yelling out something just to confuse people and just make them smile or laugh, and just one of those things. Just like, why are you saying Benny? Okay.
One of my old coworkers used to do that because we did a training camp in Kansas City, and he would just like go out of his window and just start waving at people. That was the funniest thing.
It's just little random acts, even if they don't make sense. Sometimes it just make you laugh and make you smile.
Yeah, I get it.
Yep. So just two little cute stories there, funny stories. But again, you just never know how somebody's day is, and if you just take the time to say hi or say something stupid and make them laugh, might change their day. So
Laughs are my favorite.
Yep. And then one more I've got here from another gentleman who sent this in. He said he made his wife coffee the one morning before leaving for work, even though he was running late.
Oh, that's nice.
He wanted to make sure that she had fresh coffee when she woke up, and because she's taking care of a little child, and he wanted to make sure she had her coffee in the morning. And with how busy they both are, just didn't think she'd have the time or the effort or whatever to make it. So he decided to make it for her. Like you said, even though he was running a little late, still took the time to make sure she had fresh coffee. So
Yep. Make her day a little easier.
Yep.
So Erica had a good one this week. Well, I guess it was last week. Mm-hmm. One of her friends was in a less than good relationship, we'll say. And she called us and was like, "Hey, I know you guys have been busy, but things haven't been going so well, and I need to move out." So with my job, I have big trucks that I drive. So we basically just took a truck and went over there, moved all her stuff out in, I don't know, an hour or two.
No, less than.
Less than?
Yeah.
Her parents were there too
Yeah.
earlier. So,
But either way,
but we got all
yeah.
the big stuff out in less than an hour and got her moved out of there.
Oh, wow.
Out of a bad situation. So
But that's just who we are. We'll just, if one of our friends really needs help, we kind of just literally drop of a hat. We stop and we just kind of go and help everybody that we need help with.
You sure do. I know that from experience. That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, just, and that's not even something that's so easy either. That's literally moving somebody out of a house quickly and efficiently. Like you said, when they're in a bad situation. So that's crazy. Good on you guys. Thank you for doing that. That's awesome. Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome. It's more fun to share like this way, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Than just talking to you.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, this is what happened.
Yep. So there's people out there doing amazing things, guys. People out there doing amazing things. Whether or not it's something big like that, or whether it's not, it's writing handwritten note, reaching out, making coffee for a loved one, sending a text, making a call to somebody. Anything. There's so many different things that you could do from one end to the other that can completely change someone's day, someone's life, make them smile, yell out Benny on the street. You just never know. Never know. Just be happy, be friendly, be kind. Do what you can. So
I think of Benny of the Jets. Benny.
Maybe that's what it was. Benny.
That's literally what I was thinking of the entire Okay, sorry.
Nice. All right, Yoda. All right, Darth Vader. Thank you very much for joining me. That was a lot of fun. Appreciate your insight.
Yeah, happy to be part of it. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us and my ridiculousness on, because
You're welcome.
I think he was a little embarrassed by.
Hey, you shouldn't be. Yeah. It is what it is. I think I'm losing you now. Oh, there you go.
Rather understand.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, it's our house. We have great Wi-Fi.
Yes, definitely.
You know exactly how Jake likes it. So
yes, great internet. But yes, thank you guys, and I appreciate everything that you guys have shared, and I appreciate the people that you are joining me. So thanks again. And thank you guys. Make sure to go out this week, do something nice, do something amazing. Have a bright week. Take care.
See you guys.
Bye.